reveals that kissing represents emotional intimacy that sex doesn't necessarily represent for them.
Computers.
Kissing is more vulnerable than sex for the avoidant because kissing is purely about connection, whereas sex can be about release without requiring emotional presence. What happens when the avoidant is forced to confront their kissing avoidance? If you directly confront the avoidant about avoiding kissing you, about how they're never present during kisses, about the lack of passion or connection in your physical intimacy, their response reveals the depth of their fear. They might deny there's a problem, insisting that they kiss you plenty, that you're imagining the lack of presence. The denial is gaslighting designed to make you doubt your accurate perceptions, to make you question the empathic information you're receiving, to protect them from having to acknowledge their fear. They might turn it around on you, suggesting you're too demanding about physical affection, that your need for passionate kissing is excessive, that you're making too big a deal out of something small. The reversal is defensive, an attempt to make you the problem so they don't have to face themselves as the problem. The avoidant might also respond by creating distance after the confrontation. Bringing up the kissing avoidance is bringing up their fear, is pointing to their vulnerability, is seeing them in ways they don't want to be seen. And being seen this way is so uncomfortable that they need to create distance to restore their sense of safety. They might withdraw emotionally for days or weeks after you bring it up. They might become cold and unavailable. They might end the relationship entirely if the confrontation about kissing is experienced as too threatening to their defenses. The distance creation after confrontation is evidence that you hit on something real, something they're not ready to face, something that touching through conversation is as threatening as touching through kissing would be. Some avoidants, when confronted about their kissing avoidance, will make temporary efforts to change. They'll initiate more kissing for a while. They'll try to be more present during kisses. But the effort is typically short-lived because it's coming from compliance rather than from internal growth. They're trying to appease you, to get you to stop bringing it up, to reduce the pressure they feel. But the underlying fear hasn't changed. The defenses are still intact. And eventually the avoidance pattern returns because sustainable change requires addressing the root causes through therapy, not just modifying surface behaviors to manage a partner's complaints. The temporary improvement followed by return to avoidance is actually evidence of how deep the pattern goes. It can be overridden briefly through willpower, but it reasserts itself inevitably without therapeutic intervention. Why this matters for your relationship decisions. Understanding that the avoidant is avoiding kissing you because you're an empath who would sense too much should inform your decisions about the relationship. The avoidant's fear of kissing you is evidence of their fear of intimacy more broadly. If they can't be present for a kiss, they can't be present for the vulnerable conversations, for the emotional support during crises, for the deep knowing that long-term partnership requires. The kissing is microcosm of the relationship. Their defended, controlled, absent approach to kissing is exactly how they'll approach every aspect of intimacy. And you're an empath who needs emotional connection, who needs presence, who needs to feel met by your partner. The mismatch is fundamental. Recognizing the avoidance kissing avoidance also helps you trust your perceptions. As an empath, you're sensing that something is wrong during physical intimacy with the avoidant. You're feeling their fear, their disconnection, their absence, but the avoidant might be telling you everything is fine, that you're overthinking, that you're imagining problems. Understanding that what you're sensing is real, that the avoidant is genuinely afraid of the intimacy that kissing with you would create, validates your empathic knowing. You're not crazy, you're not too sensitive. You're accurately perceiving their defended state, and their defending is about their limitations, not about your inadequacy. Trust what you're sensing through the kiss and through the absence of real kissing. Your empathic reading of the situation is giving you accurate information about their incapacity. The avoidant's fear of kissing you should also clarify that this isn't something you can fix through being more patient or more understanding. The fear isn't about you being too much. The fear is about them being too defended. You being less empathic, less perceptive, less able to sense what they're feeling wouldn't make them less afraid. It would just make them more comfortable hiding. But comfort in hiding isn't the same as capacity for intimacy. The avoidant needs to address their fear through therapy, through working with their attachment wounds, through developing capacity they currently don't have, and that work is theirs to do. You can't make them less afraid by being less perceptive. You can only decide whether you're willing to be in relationship with someone whose fear prevents them from being present with you, even in something as simple and fundamental as a kiss. The heartbreak of being too much to kiss. There's particular heartbreak in being an empath with an avoidant partner around the issue of kissing. You experience the